Hi, I always do this. I kind of always need a drink before I start. And Kelly, if you're watching this, where are they? I've not drank out this cup for ages. My little stones have come off the front, but I've got some stones, so I'm going to glue some on. There's just one on the other side, but I still do love this cup. I just thought I needed a tall cup today, and I'll be a princess today. So don't look at my nails, guys, because I've not done them for about a week, and I've cut them all off, and they're all, I don't like them. Oh, and the only other thing is my hair. Well, I'm glad to say. Oh, it's Positive Wednesday, by the way. I think I'm going to go back dark brown. I know I keep saying you can't really tell off this light properly. Obviously, in real life, it's a bit more redder. Only like an auburn, because I put a henna on it. But it's a lot darker at the ends. I don't even know if you can tell on camera. See? And I just thought, no, I'm not into it. I need to be dark. I think I just suit my hair dark. It's just me. I think it's like, if it's a warm red, I think I've either got to be dark, not black, I can't go too black at my age, but it would look black, but a really, really dark brown, which will go near enough that colour anyway, because my hair is dark brown, it looks black sometimes, but not like wiggy black, if you know what I mean, but dark brown, or if you're going to go light, go light. So I think it's because it's in between, and it's you get build up on your ends, skills, you know what I'm talking about. I think I'm just going to be darks, and I think I really need now, because my hair has grown quite a bit. I know this isn't a hair what I'm talking about, but I think I just need to go to hairdressers and get it trimmed up now. I don't know whether to have it layered a bit so I can have, you know, that shaggy look sort of thing, like sort of more poofy, because it's been blunt lately. And I'm quite bad because I don't like wearing hairspray, but I think I'm going to have to start doing something with it now. It's getting in a sort of style, and fringe needs cutting because that's grown quite a bit, so I don't know whether to have a side fringe. And if I have it long, I can have it in a side fringe, or a little bit shorter. If it's dark, it's going to look a bit Cleopatra-fied, you know, dark short bob with a fringe. Anyway, today I was going to talk about, I think it was forgiveness I said, and just a couple of other things, because it's not a long one. Well, I always say that, but it shouldn't be a long chat, because I've got witchy ways to do after this as well, so there's 2 going up tonight if anyone's interested in that. But there was forgiveness I was going to talk about, just a little bit, and then something else that I've found that sort of goes into self-love as well, even though I've spoke about that, the cards and the Dr. Emoto's rice results just for a week. I've got them to show you, and tarot cards. So yeah, forgiveness. I was watching something the other night. I think it was a program called The Good Witch. I've started watching, and someone else suggested The Witches of East End, which I'm going to start watching that as well. That looks a bit like Charmed to me, you know, Charmed, if anyone used to watch it. Anyway, but there's something she said in that, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm not, if any of you are holding a grudge against a friend or someone you work with, or an ex, you know, or even a partner you're with that, say maybe something like, say your partner's cheated or something like that, and you're okay now, but every now and again you bring it up a bit because you can't sort of let go of it, and that, in a sense, can cause bad vibes because you're bringing it up to that person, and maybe you had a chat about this thing that went on and it's been all explained, but you just can't let go of, like, throwing their dig sometimes, you know, like, I don't know, like, you've seen something on telly and then you've gone, yeah, well, you did that, or do you know what I mean? Like, you've kept making a bit of a sarky comment about it. So then that person goes in a mood, and then all it's doing is creating negative energy, bad energy, and setting that sort of vibe into it, that every time you bring that up, you're just going to feel like crap. And really, by letting it go, you're going to bring more positive things in, because, and like if it's someone at work, or a friend did something to you really bad, or not really bad, but maybe something happened where you just can't forgive them. It's just best really to just forgive, because I've had to write a bit down so I'm like, I just forget what I'm talking about. Because all it is doing is it's just energy. The energy you're putting in about, if you're constantly thinking about something that happened or situation or the thing that happened, it's just creating energy, and it's just bad energy, and you're feeding that situation, that thing that happened all the time. It's just like for example, I haven't really got anything in my life at the minute where I think, God, I'm just going to have to forgive that person, because, well, I was thinking I didn't, but I do. As in, I don't want to say too much about it because you've heard me go on about it before, but, you know, exes and stuff, like, I could safely say now, if my ex walked up to me, though I don't think they know what I know with certain things that went on, I have felt hurt. Not now, maybe last year, even though I was okay with not being with that person, but just the stuff that I knew sort of still upset me a little bit. Like I said, not because I've wanted to get back with that person, just because it just hurts to know. It's hard when you didn't know at the time something was going on. And not even with the something I found out things before. And now I think, God, there must have been a lot of things going on. But you know, it's hard to like sort of, you want to be mad, but I can't be mad because it's been and gone now, and I'm in a much happier place. And I really do believe that if this person could come up to me and say, would you forgive me for the things I did, like to ease their conscience or something, not that they'd be bothered anyway, but I could say, actually, yes, I forgive you. And that's not in a forgiving way of like, I mean, I've forgiven them, but it's not in a way of like, not that this had ever happened, but if this person came back to me and thought I was forgiving them, so therefore they thought I would get back with them because I forgive them. No, I just mean I forgive that person for doing it because that's the way they are, and I believe they'll always sort of be that way. So it's in their makeup to do the things that they do, and they probably will carry on doing them things, which I do believe. But I forgive that person for being the way they are. Like when I said, was it yesterday, about when my mum comes down, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because someone said, yeah, the generation, yeah, it is to do with the generation, because she is from a different generation. I mean, Nana was from a different generation, and I can see snippets of my Nana and my mum, of how my mum used to be with my Nana. And that made me think as well, when she was down, it's like, I'm not as bad with her now as I used to be. She's calmed down a little bit, but I still get a bit like, oh, just try and keep my mouth shut, don't upset. And I feel really bad sometimes because I do snap at her sometimes, but, you know, it's my mum, we do get on each other's nerves because we're not the same people. And it made me think, like, I don't know if anyone's getting this, but when I was with this person, this relationship, sometimes, even though, you know, you can't sort of tell someone what to do, as in there's no right or wrong way. Well, there is. There's right ways of talking to people and acting with people, if you know what I mean, like in a nice way. But when my mum sort of has said stuff to me, she wants things done in a certain way, and I'd be like, well, I do it this way, just chill out a bit, you know, just do it that way. It's because that person in my relationship was used to just being that way with who he's been with in the past, and you know, it's just his way of doing it. But it's like I worry now because I think, God, if I ever got with anyone again, well, no, I'm not worried. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. It's like when you've been on your own for a bit, I think you do get set in your ways, and as you get a bit older, you do get set in your ways, and I am quite liking it. But it makes me think now, God, if anyone did come into my life, would I be like, oh, what are you doing that for? Like, I want it done a certain way, sort of thing. If you know what I mean? But then you've got to sit back and realise, like, sometimes I wish my mum would realise, just because she does something a certain way doesn't mean everyone should do it that way. I'll get there in the end of doing it, But I just do it the way I do it. But in a sense of a relationship, I don't know, it's like, I can't really explain my situation because that has gone, but I mean, if that person came up to me, I can forgive them now. I can truly sit back and think now, do you know what? I forgive him for everything, put me through shit, feeling like shit and everything, but I just forgive it now as like, because I do talk about it to people and now I think, no, I've got to stop doing that because it's putting an energy around it. And even if I'm not with that person, it's still an energy to that person, if you know what I mean. So if you're in a relationship but you are with somebody and say they've done something like cheated or something like that, and it was a while back, but now and again you keep bringing it up, just don't bring it up because you're putting an energy to that thing that happened with that person or whatever. I don't know if you get what I'm talking about. Or even if it's someone at work or, you know, a friend that you think's you've had a bit of a fallout. And you get them people who they won't have it. They're right all the time. And you might just have to, sometimes it's easy just to bow down and think, do you know what? I'll forgive him and I'll just say, you know, keep the peace, you were wrong sort of thing. Just forgive them because it's a lot easier to just be like, forgive someone, because then I think once you forgive, because it is like letting go, which I've realised as well, it's like letting go is things will start coming in your life then that are supposed to start happening for you. Because if you're looking somewhere else or going on about something too much, you're probably going to miss the opportunity of something that might be over here that you've not really seen because you've had your blinkers on like that, if you know what I mean. But I think forgiveness is very powerful because there are a lot of people that would hold a grudge for ages and they'll never forgive anyone. And sometimes they'll wish they could and they've really wanted to say it, but they just won't. They'll just hold on to that grudge like for ages and ages. And it's because this thing I was watching, this series, it's because a guy's wife, was it wife to be? Was he married to? I don't know, partner had ran off with his best mate. And they got together and I think they got married. And he was on his own and single. And she came back into town with him and he didn't know how he was going to feel when he saw them. He was like, oh my God, you know, I don't know how I'm going to feel. And, you know, he was getting himself in a bit of a tears and he was getting a bit moody and, you know, snapping at his friends and stuff. And they were like, why? And the witchy woman in it said, well, just tell them you forgive them, you know, because it'd been a bit of time, you know, I think it'd been a couple of years or whatever. But, you know, he still felt a bit funny because he's like, oh, she's come to check up on me to check that I'm still single and I'm not with somebody, because they had to pretend they were with each other to her. But in the end, he was like, no, you know, I just forgive you. I forgive you both. And after he said that, he just felt better because it was like he just needed to get on with his life. It didn't matter if they were together because they knew what they'd done wrong at the end of the day. And if they are them sort of people, they probably won't stay together anyway, you know what I mean? They'll probably go and do the same thing anyway, probably won't stay together. But I don't know if you get what I'm talking about, but sometimes it's more powerful to say to somebody, you know, I forgive you, and then just let it go and don't put don't put any more energy into it, because it takes energy out of you and it makes you feel crap, which goes on to I don't know if any of that made any sense. I'm not very organised as usual. But yeah, I just think you should forgive sometimes, even if it's like you don't have to. I don't mean you have to forgive to be like, when this guy forgave, his mate did come back to him and he said, you know what, after he was like, you know, I am sorry and this, that and the other for what happened. And he did give him a, you know, can't think of the word, an apology. And he was like, fair enough, I'm just saying I forgive you. I don't want to see you. It doesn't mean, say you fell out with a friend who was a very good friend over something big, that you have to be friends with them again, because you still might think, you know, I couldn't trust that person again, but I forgive them just so I can get on with my own life. So I forgive you, but I don't want to associate associate with you anymore. Do you know what I mean? You don't. It doesn't mean you're forgiving them to let them back into your life. Like I was saying with my ex, I could forgive him, but there's no way on this earth, it doesn't matter what happens, that I would ever be like, you know, someone might think, oh, she's forgiven, she could forgive him. That probably means if ever there was a time where he was on his own again and he thought, oh, well, I'll try and wangle myself back in, she probably would say yes because she forgives me. No, I just mean I'm not in that space anymore, so I'm not bothered about it. So I can forgive you, you know, sort of thing, if you know what I'm going on about. But also today, just before I show you the rice experiment, was it today or was it last night? I was saying about my arms and this thing that was going on. I don't know if it's lifting Finn as well, actually, because he's really heavy, but my neck's a bit better today. Still a bit sore in areas, but it's better. I think it was the way I slept, I'm not sure. The thing with my hands seems better today. So I didn't do yoga today, I did something else, which I was looking at last year. I don't know if you remember me saying. I was looking at belly dancing because there was this thing online where it was an exercise one for beginners. And it was a bit of belly dancing because I thought, well, if I did yoga, because I want to be like more flexible and stuff, and some of the things they do in belly dancing is, you know, quite like yoga would be good for it. But it was really good and I really enjoyed it. And I thought, for women, because obviously I'm going to say this about women because I am a woman, there were some benefits I wrote down about it, really. I just thought, what a nice exercise to do. Like, where did I put it? Sort of, it's quite a sensual thing for a woman. It's quite nice, and they have nice little costumes, but I don't mean if you tried it, you'd have to get a costume. You can get them little, you know, the little belly belts. It's just like a scarf thing with jingly jangles on, and that's so you can, you know, when you're moving your hips, you can hear the movement. You can it sort of helps you, if you know what I mean, the belt, because you centre in your stomach while you're doing it. But I don't know where I put all these. I did write down the benefits. God, I'm so unorganised. Where is it? Oh, it was saying anyway, it can help tone, lose weight, stress relief. I think it said something about, because it's a low impact exercise, and something about, I think it was about bone density. Just let me have a look. Hang on a minute. So rubbish, it was in front of my face. So it was like bone density increases. It's a low impact, helps in losing weight, helps in pregnancy, helps in preparing for childbirth, helps with reducing stress levels, boosts your self-esteem, obviously, because it's like a self-love thing, belly dancing, isn't it? Because the ones that I've seen where women have gone to classes, because the one I'm looking at, you know, just doing your front room or whatever, and nobody's about, whatever. But the ones who've gone to the classes and then might have done little dances somewhere, they're just all women. But what's great about it is, hang on a minute, helps to relieve. Oh, it also says helps to relieve pain. Pain? Have I not got? Oh, I think it was something about joint pain sort of thing, something like that. There was a few more. I'll have to find them again, but it's quite a nice thing for women. I mean, if men did it, whatever. But I'm just saying this because, you know, I'm a woman. Women normally do it. You know, a lot of the women that I go are all different shapes and sizes, so it is, you know, like a self-esteem thing. They've all got little like tops on. Some have the bellies out. You know, the smaller women, and some of the bigger women have them out, or they might have a vest up on with a little shimmy belt on and leggings or long, you know, skirts. But they all look great, and they all do it. And there was a woman I was watching. I'll have to find the names, and she's a bigger woman, but I just think, you know, give her some due and all that, because she was shaking her hips everywhere, and I thought, oh my God, I wish I could do that, you know. And I thought, it's just like a self-love thing, isn't it? It's quite a sensual, sexy thing for a woman. But it also looked fun as well, because it's a little bit of dancing and you're toning up. So I thought, I think I might try a bit of that. It would be just nice to do, like, carrying on my yoga in the morning, and then maybe just not every evening, got doing everything like that. Some evenings just do a bit of belly dancing, because music makes you feel good. And then a little bit of dancing. You know, when you've ever like started doing your house, but you've had a bit of music on, you've had a bit of a bop, it makes you feel better. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe a bit of belly dancing. Don't know. Might try that. If anyone's interested, just go on YouTube and type in belly dancing for beginners, and there's quite a few people. And obviously you can just pick one that you think you can do if you're interested in it. But it's just, I don't know, I think it's quite an empowering thing, because some of the women on it, they're so gorgeous, and I'm talking about all sizes of women, you know, smaller to bigger. They all look gorgeous in their outfits, and they're really good in all the movements and everything, and it's great. I just like it. But oh, the only other thing was as well is because Easter's just gone, I mean, with plant-based food, but I've had a really nice tea tonight. It was chicken nuggets, but not chicken. It's meat-free. And they're from Aldi, I think I said before, but the stuffed and fried are so gorgeous. Finn would rather eat them than chicken nuggets. And they're quite chunky. You don't get loads in the packet, but they're quite chunky. They're so nice. I had them with some fries. Be naughty. I had some fries with spiraled cucumber with peanut butter and sweet chilli sauce on, like a satay sauce. Oh my God, it was so nice. And then I kept forgetting at Easter, I was eating a bit of Finn's chocolate, and I thought, my God, because I don't normally eat milk chocolate because of the milk in it, but the one I do like, I got it today because I love it, is this one. I always show you from Aldi, because unless I'm wrong, ingredients: cocoa, maize, sugar, cocoa butter, I don't say milk, soya, and ground vanilla and stuff in it. I think I can eat this one. Doesn't say milk and stuff on it. Oh, I don't know, but I've been eating the dark chocolate and I love it. And I think I slipped when Mum was down, because she got me a vegetable lasagna, thinking it was all right, and I was like, I'll eat it because you got it, because it had milk in it, because it had milk and eggs in it, and I try not to eat dairy as well, so it is hard. And like I said, I'm not saying I'm vegan, I'm saying I'm plant-based, and it is hard, and I have had a few slip-ups like that, like my mum got me, didn't get me the milk, and we had cow's milk, and so I had to have a bit in my tea. So I just think it's not too bad, do you know what I mean, if I had to have a little bit because I've slipped up on an Easter egg, just because I know it's not a dead animal. I know it's come from an animal, but it's not a dead animal. It's not been killed, do you know what I mean? It's the milk or whatever, if you know what I mean, but I'm not going into that. But yeah, so Dr. Emoto's what was it? Rice experiment, because that's what I meant with the whole forgiving thing. It's thoughts on things, you're thinking about things, sort of not forgiving someone, and it can just make you feel crap. So you want the energy lifted, go and forgive somebody. Makes you feel better anyway, that you can be strong and say that. But I'm going to show you the results. So we had love, hate, and ignore. Now, what's really weird was, I started this last Wednesday, so it's been a week, is on some of them I'd seen the love white or whitish, the hate was always obviously more bleh, and then the ignored can be white or can get a bit mould in it, but not as bad as the hate. The love can get mould in it, but the mould tends to either not be a lot or it goes paler, you know, and the hate's darker. So in some it stays quite white. I guess it depends what you're saying to it, I don't know. But anyway, so I'll show you the ignore first. So the ignore, as far as I can see, I find this strange, but I'll tell you why I think this is at the minute. In the ignore, it just shows you though, there's nothing in it at the minute. Right, I'll tip it upside down. There's nothing in it at the minute. We know this is ignore because it's got a blank sticker on the front. So there's nothing in there of what I can see of any mould starting, right? Now, the love has started getting a little bit of mould, and it was tiny, now it's got a bit bigger. But there's, as far as I can see, there's only one blob that started, but some of it's starting to lighten up a bit, but as far as I can see, oh, that's funny, there is actually some furry bit on top of the rice, but it's white, so yeah, I don't know. So I'll show you that. I just don't want to move it. See that? There. But there's nothing round here. And there's nothing underneath. It's just the top bit there. So I'm going to see what that does if it... That's really big, some white fluffy bits on there. The mould there. And then hate is... where is it? Hate is... you won't be able to this. There's a tiny little bit of mould starting there. A tiny little bit of mould starting there. See, the rice might move, and there's a tiny little bit of mould starting there. Don't know if you can see, so don't really want to move it. Oh, and there's one in the corner behind the sticker. Oh, and a bit there. So we've got a bit there, and then just don't know if you can see. Over here, there's one round here and up there, but you can't really see. Don't know. You see it there? Don't know if you can see it. Anyway, it should darken up, so I'll be able to show you again. But there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 little bits on top. There's this tiny one here starting. And then that big bit there, that's bigger than the love one. And also, where that's starting, there's some starting in here. Don't know if you can see. Don't know if you can see, it's a bit harder. There's a bit starting on the side. But I think there's a bit starting down there as well. Don't know if you can see. I am going to show you them next week anyway, or if they get really bad then I'll show you before, but because they're quite small, the spores of, like, I'll call them spores of hate mouldy bits in that one, they're not showing up as much, but that is definitely bigger than the love one. The love one's got mould, but the hate one's got a massive piece, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other bits of separate mould coming in separate places. So I was wondering today, I thought, well, love's got a bit on it, so I wonder why that is, and I wonder why the one you ignore hasn't. But I thought maybe it's because that's not getting any attention. So even though the others are getting attention, no, what was I going to say? That's not getting attention, so it's not putting energy in it for anything to happen. I don't know. Love is getting attention, nice attention, but maybe the mould is there to just show you that things are happening. And then obviously the hate's getting the horrid attention, so more things are happening, but not good things, because that just really goes off then. I don't know if you know what I mean, but to me it shows you, like, say relationship, I don't know, I could just see it as a relationship, that this was a relationship where you either didn't get any love or you didn't get any hate, sort of thing. So you just sort of stay a bit like nothing going on really. If you know what I mean. You've got your love, at least you've got something, you're getting love. And in a sense, you've got your hate. Something's definitely going on. There's attention there, but it's hate. It's not good attention. But I don't get if you know what I mean. I know what I mean in my own head. But that's them so far, which I think is quite good. It's showing you that, you know, thoughts. If you're saying things, the words that you're saying, because I wasn't actually saying this out loud. Sometimes I was just holding it and thinking it. So it's like the things that you think and the things that you say. It is starting to prove that, you know, it works, that they have an effect on you. So we'll see how that progresses in another week. Like I said, if it comes up more, and you can definitely see a bigger difference, because I don't know if you could then, I can, and I don't know if you can see the spores in the hate one, the other ones that are coming. But it is interesting, you know, and everyone that's seen it are like, oh God, yeah, I can tell. And I can't remember if my friend on here and Instagram, Kelly, I can't remember if you said you were doing it. I don't know how yours are going, but try it. if anyone wants to try it, just try it. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes, and then I've just got the cards to do. Let's see what these say today. Funny enough, I put these on Instagram, my card readings now, because I've been trying to read them before, how I interpret them before I read the book, and I'm doing quite well. Oh, and there's another thing that I'll probably mention this on Witchy Ways as well. Some jewellery that I'm going to be bringing out. I don't know when, because I've got to get the stuff for it, but it's to do with how I said I was feeling when I felt zapped yesterday. But I'm going to talk about that in Witchy Ways, because it's like spiritual jewellery sort of thing, like a bit like these really, because these I made these ages ago, and I love these earrings, and they are flowers, but these are quartz gemstones, quite good for a lot of things, quartz, clear quartz. So well, I like a smoky quartz, so to say they're not see-through, but don't know if you can see. But I love these, they're quite nice. So I'll be talking about that in the next video. So do some cards. It's going to make me laugh if this has anything to do with what I think it's going to do with. It's the Phoenix. Resurrection, surrender to change. See what this one says. Surrender to change. So this says, my book upside down. Oh, and these aren't the cards I've been using on my daily one. So it says, see if it's got anything to do with what we've just been talking about. The Phoenix appears as your ally to celebrate your journey and to ensure your ultimate success. This is true even if it appears you've just passed through a metaphorical experience of death or currently enduring a perception of failure in your life. Death and rebirth are related. When you enter the realm of the Phoenix, seen in this light, nothing truly dies, but rather changes. From one ending directly into new beginnings. Which is sort of a bit like what I've been talking about, because I have got new beginnings to come, because something did end, so it is new beginnings. The Phoenix is constantly reinventing itself. I'm always doing that. And rises up whole and new and even more powerful with every breath it experiences. This could signal an end of a relationship or a dynamic within one, or an end of a job, a project, or even a life. Perhaps no failure is involved, but it's time for a complete overhaul of your circumstances. Yeah. You may be tired of what you're doing, or you may know intuitively that it's time to move on and try something new. Whatever the case, a death of an old and a celebration of a new life are called for. Whatever you do now will indeed be a successful endeavour, for rebirth is imminent. Which is true, because I still am on my change. I don't mean I'm on the change. God, when will that be? Changing, because funnily enough today, I don't know if I said in the other video yesterday that I'm waiting for to try and get this free childcare thing for Finn, because I'm on my own. And when I rang yesterday, she was like, "Oh, the thing you get, you're not entitled." I said, "Yes, I am entitled, because I'm a single mum and I'm on my own, and they want me to get back into work. I need him to have these to go to nursery for a couple of days so I can finish my course up, and start that up." So another thing I'm going to be talking about in the Witchy Ways is crystal gridding. Not that I know that much about it, but I do sort of have one on my altar, which, funnily enough, I'm going to show it in the next video. I'm not going getting it now, but this morning when I do my ritual thing in the morning, if you know, when I write like what I'm grateful for and stuff like that, I wrote a little note saying about him getting the free nursery hours. So I wrote it up, put it under my crystal, and did a grid thing on it, which I'll talk about after. I just left it there, and then I went shopping with his nana, and I came back, and I had 2 letters before I went out, and I didn't even look at them. And one was bright yellow, and I thought, oh, it's for the, I can never say this word, I'm really sorry, you know, the Maori cancer thing, because I pay a little bit of money to that. And theirs is normally bright yellow, so I just thought, oh, it's the thing, I'll put it on the side. And then I got home and I thought, oh, no, it's not. It said in big letters, free childcare. So he'd got it. He had got it. And because she kept saying at first the thing that I'm on, they were like, oh, the computers haven't tallied up. So it's saying that you're not entitled to it. And I'm thinking, but I am entitled to it. I know I'm entitled to it. And then it came today and I was like, is that what I wrote this morning on my thing? And I did. So I'm chuffed about that. So I've got to go down to the school tomorrow and hopefully get him on the list, and hopefully he'll go to the nursery that I want him to go to, where my sister is and my friend, because that would just be great. And then I can start on the road to sorting my life out with a job and trying to get myself sorted a bit for that, because I do want to go back to work. So yeah, there's all that, you know, so I'm quite chuffed about that. So I don't know if that beginning made sense, because I wasn't really so it's just good to forgive, because in life we're not here that long, and if something did happen to you, and when you look at the bigger picture, things going on in the world that don't compete with what you might have fell out about somebody with, and at least if hopefully you went at a good old age, that person wouldn't feel awful that they knew they contributed to the, do you know what I mean, like you feeling crap or something they did that, I don't know, do you know what I mean, that you could just forgive someone anyway. Like I said, it's not that you had to have someone back in your life or whatever, or even if it was getting rid of someone, but you could say you forgive them, but then you don't want to know, do you know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense, but the proof is coming along with the rice experiment, so we'll see how that goes next week. And yeah, so if you want to see what I got today from my charity haul, which was great, because I can't say I can't believe what I got, because I can, because it's the way it works with law of attraction and stuff and things. Then I'm going to post this. This goes up now, and then I'm going to do my next, I don't mean I'm going to do my next video, just watch out for Witchy Ways after this one, and I'll see you next, well, you know, you'll see me again, but Positive Wednesday, I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.